Hi everyone, a very good morning to you all. Today is 26th of January and I welcome you all to the Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. So guys, in the today's video we are going to cover all the important articles from which are there in the Hindu newspaper. We are also going to cover the articles from Indian Express, Down to Earth, PIB. Now, first of all, apologies. Today there might be little bit disturbance in the video in terms of audio or video because right now I am traveling, I am en route, so please manage for today. Now, in the today's session, we are going to cover all these particular topics for mains examination and all these topics for the prelims examination. India, France, brain gain, why there is no snowfall, and higher education. These are main topics. And for prelims, Grantham inscription, Asian Buddhist Conference, Disease X, and Amrit Dharohar we are going to cover. And for mapping, we are going to cover Lake Victoria, Tanzania. Okay, and apart from that, we are also going to cover the current affairs based MCQ questions and quotation for essay and answer writing, particularly GS paper, particularly your mains examination. Now, before going on, let's take the quotation for today. So, today we are going to take quotation from Fumzile Mlambo. So, Fumzile Mlambo is advocate for women rights and she says that there is no great force for change, peace, justice, democracy, and inclusive economic growth than a world of empowered women. Now, when we talk about the women's empowerment, it happens to be very important. Why? Please take down the points here. Number one, women constitutes around 50% of population. But when we talk about their economic participation, for example, female labor force participation rate in the context of India, it stands around 27.8%. When we talk about political participation of women, we find this particular thing that as per Global Gender Gap Index report, just 15.1% of MPs in the present parliament they are women. Okay, and around the world, if we talk about the total number of parliamentary seats held by women, according to Human Development Perspective report, only 24% of parliamentary seats worldwide are held by women. So when women are not being given equality in political economic sphere, what is happening? We are not being able to leverage their potential, which is injustice to entire world. So women empowerment is non-negotiable. You can use this idea in your essay as well as in your women related issues GS1 as well as GS paper number 2. Now let's take the MCQ answers that we have taken yesterday, their questions answer. So first was choose the correct option with respect to Indian military exercises. Samudra Shakti, Varun, exercise Cyclone, Khanjar. So correct option is B. They all are correctly matched. Then consider the following statement with respect to design linked incentive scheme. It comes under Ministry of Commerce. No, it is wrong. It comes under MITI, that is Ministry of Information, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, and CDAC is the nodal agency. It offers financial incentive, right? So correct option is B. Then consider the following statements. The border states of West Bengal and Punjab, the BSF jurisdiction is 2 kilometer. No, it has recently been extended to 50 kilometer. Therefore, there was controversy. SSB dealt with boundary between India, Bhutan, and India, Nepal. Yes, it is correct. So correct option is B. Then let's take the questions for today. So we have this question. Consider the following statement with respect to leprosy. It is a chronic infectious disease caused by virus. It is also known as Hansen disease. Integrated portal Nikust 2 is related to it. So choose the correct option and please leave your answers in the comment box. Yesterday we have discussed there was an article on leprosy. WHO has approved a new treatment regimen. So it might be asked in your prelims examination. Then consider the following international organizations. Okay, which of the following organization primarily deals with the issues related to international criminal justice, settling legal disputes between states, providing advisory opinion on legal question referred by the United Nations? ICC, International Court of Commerce, International Criminal Court, International Court of Justice, International Chamber of Justice. Okay, and then there is one more question for today. Which of the why has the Odisha government sought Kumki elephant from Tamil Nadu? So choose the right option and whatever is the right answer, please leave that in the comment box and please ensure that every day you're participating in these MCQ questions. Okay. Now, also, guys, I would like to tell you that last few days have remained. We are coming out with Roundup 2024, which is a holistic current affairs batch for upcoming prelims examination. That is prelims 2024. In this particular batch, we are going to holistically cover entire last 1 year's current affairs in theme-based manner such as economy, environment, social justice, polity, IR, bodies, science and tech, art and culture, and miscellaneous. Also, world mapping module will be there complimentary, and these particular classes, they will be live classes. However, after the live classes, recordings would also be available on your portal every week. In starting, there will be the two classes every week. After that, the classes duration might increase if we need extra classes. Also, with every class, you will be given the PDF notes so that your time is not wasted in making the notes. Also, one more thing, that in these particular is this particular module, after every few topics we will be taking up the MCQ test so that we can understand that where our understanding lies. Now the batch is going to start from 31st of January. You can enroll by visiting our website sahilsani.net. Also, enrollment link is provided in the description box, there you can also see. Okay, now moving on, and let's take the first article for today. France's early bet on India is paying off. Now this article I have taken from Indian Express editorial section, and to be very frank, in today's Hindu newspaper I didn't found any good article. The articles are on the outright criticism of the government and all such kind of things. So this article in Indian Express is good. Now, before going in this article, let's understand some basic background information first. Now, so basically, what has happened, we find this particular thing that the French president is visiting India on the Republic Day. Now, first of all, we see this particular thing that France becomes the country which have received the maximum number of invites from India for the Republic Day celebration. Now, we have a lot of complementaries between India and France, which makes France a preferred partner for India. Now, let's see that what are the complementaries between the India and France. Now, first of all, when we talk about the French president's visit, this particular visit is going to be the his third visit to India. It is going to be his third visit to the India, and also France gets a unique honor of being the country that has got the highest number of invites as a chief guest. Now, when we talk about India and France, first of all, the most important aspect is that they don't carry any historical baggage. For example, when we talk about UK, because of the colonial history, there is a baggage that comes in between the India UK relation. When we talk about India US relation, you see this particular thing that during the Cold War period time, because India did not join the capitalist camp of USA has often took certain stands against India which have impacted India's national interest. For example, Pakistan was openly supported by US during the Cold War period time. Then, when India turned a nuclear state, at that point of a time also, a considerable backlash was shown by USA. But when we talk about France, we don't have any such historical baggage. Okay, so because of that, there is no such bad history. Then also, France is an important country which has stood with the India on very important after a lot of important developments. When the world was not there, France has stood with India. For example, throughout the Kashmir issue, throughout the Kashmir issue, France has stood for the India. Then in 1998, when the nuclear test was conducted by India, and when the world countries imposed sanctions on India, fine, at that point of a time, France has supported and has provided nuclear technologies to India after that also. Then France supports India's claim to the permanent membership in UNSC, United Nations Security Council. Also, France has supported India when India has raised the matter of Pakistan exporting terrorism. So, with respect to for countering Pakistan with respect to terrorism, also France has supported. Then also, after that, France is also important defense partner for India. You already might be knowing that with respect to Rafale fighter jets, France is providing the Rafale fighter jets to India. Now, France has provided defense as well as civil technologies. Also, many of the advanced technology France has provided. And when we talk about France, France has important territories in the Indian Ocean region, such as the Reunion Island. And Reunion Island has been provided by France to India so that India can deploy the Air Force planes on the Reunion Island. Now, understand this thing that when we talk about India, India aims to become a blue water navy. India aims to become a blue water navy. Blue water navy is one which has a presence in all the important oceans and sea, most importantly the seas. For that, India needs the offshore bases, and Reunion Island, by as France is providing reunion to India, it has helped India to enhance its naval presence. Then after that, we find this particular thing that also France values India's strategic autonomy because France itself follows the strategic autonomy. Now, what is the strategic autonomy concept? So, strategic autonomy means that there will be transactional approach with respect to foreign relations. India will not have any permanent enemy. India will not have any permanent friend. We will choose our allies on the basis of our national interest. This is the strategic autonomy. So, this strategic autonomy has been followed by India as well as France, and France respects India's autonomy. If you see what has happened when India maintains good relations with Russia, USA has a problem with that. But France does not create such a kind of a thing. Then also we see this particular thing that both the countries celebrate multiculturalism, pluralism. Okay. Then next is that France has also provided the support to India's lot of initiatives. For example, you might have heard about the ISA, International Solar Alliance. The ISA, it was co-founded by both India and France together. Then also India's UPI payment. So France became the first European country to accept UPI. Fine. Then also, what happens? India-France partnership in Indo-Pacific region is there. Now, France is not a member of Quad, that is the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue. In Quad, we have four countries: US, India, UK, and we have, sorry, four countries: India, US, Australia, and Japan. Okay, India, India, US, Japan, and Australia. France is not the part of the Quad, but still France has signed the Indo-Pacific, is cooperating onto the Indo-Pacific region. So as this particular visit is coming, there is expected that there will be many more new things that will come out of this particular visit. For example, on technical cooperation, fine development of the jet engines, aircraft, submarines, and on digital front also, many important cooperations might come. And also when we talk about the France, France can act as an important bridge between India and many European Western countries. So, therefore, this particular visit is going to be an important one in this particular scenario. Fine. So, that is about it. And now let's move to the next article. So, we have this article. Fine. We have this particular article, an exchange. Now, this particular article we are going to cover with respect to GS paper number 2, issues related to Indian diaspora. Issues related to Indian diaspora. Now, first of all, who is the diaspora? Diaspora are the people of a particular country living in other country. For example, people of Indian origin living in UK are Indian diaspora. People of Indian origin living in any other country are the India's diaspora. Now, what actually has happened? Government has come out with Vaibhav Fellowship Program. Now, Vaibhav Fellowship Program. So, what is this Vaibhav? Let's understand this thing. So, Vaibhav, it stands for वैश्विक भारतीय वैज्ञानिक वैश्विक भारतीय वैज्ञानिक under this Vaibhav initiative, India will invite Indian origin scientists who are living abroad, or the Indian scientist or the scientists who have Indian ancestry living in US or other European countries. They will be invited that they come in India and they stay for 3 months every year in India, and once a fellowship is given, it will be there for 3 years. So let's say a fellowship has been given to some Indian scientist for 3 years. That fellowship will be there, and every year he will stay in India for 3 months. Okay, and during his stay, he will be given a fellowship of 4 lakh rupees. When he will come here, so they will be starting some technological project, or they will be developing long term connections with the institutions, will be doing some technology transfer to the Indian institution, or will be doing some technical collaboration. Okay, so this is something that will be done by these foreign scientists. Now, what we are going to do, basically, by this particular thing, we are connecting with the Indian diaspora on those foreign countries. And in the past, you might have been knowing this particular thing, that the brain drain has been seen by India. Now, India is trying to seek the brain gain. India is trying to seek the brain gain by this particular development. Okay, now just one thing I would like to tell you, that this particular scheme is very much similar to the Vajra scheme that was already there. So let's see the difference between Vajra and Vaibhav. So Vajra, it stands for Visiting Advanced Joint Research Faculty Scheme. Fine. Now, Vajra scheme. So in this particular scheme, also we invited the foreign faculties, foreign Indian scientists. Okay. Now this particular scheme was open to both Indian as well as the international faculty. But in the present Vaibhav, international scientists, international faculties will not be brought. They have to be Indian. Fine. Either they have to have Indian ancestry, or they can be NRI. Okay. Then the duration. So the Vajra scheme, its duration was 1 year. Vaibhav scheme, the present scheme, its duration is 3 years. Then the amount of fellowship amount that was offered, that was generous than the present Vaibhav scheme. Both the schemes, they are implemented by DST, Department of Science and Technology. Okay, so this is the difference by this. Now, it is needed to be seen that how well it will take off, because availability of funding and the enthusiasm of the government is very important. But yes, it is a very important step in connecting with the Indian diaspora, particularly the Indian scientists living in their countries such as America, because in the past we have seen that there is a lot of competition with respect to the tenured job in universities, and in this capacity Indian institutions can attract them. Then moving on, we have this article, why is there is no snowfall in Kashmir. This article will see with respect to GS paper number 1, phenomena related to geography. So, you might have already seen this particular thing in the news, that the important skiing destinations such as the Gulmarg, Pahalgam, which used to be covered with a lot of snow during the month of January, right this year there is virtually no snow here. When we talk about the Himachal Pradesh particularly, Himachal Pradesh has received the Himachal Pradesh has seen the driest January month since 1901, and there is a 99.7% shortfall in snow in the month of January. Okay, now what are the reasons that the snowfall is very much less in Himachal Pradesh and Jammu Kashmir? So basically, we have three reasons in this particular direction. The first reason is the western disturbances. The first reason is the western disturbances. Now, guys, when we talk about the western disturbances, you might be knowing this particular thing, that basically what happened here. For example, we have a Mediterranean Sea. Just a minute. Fine. So you can see that the Mediterranean Sea, Black Sea, Caspian Sea. So here the cyclonic depressions that emerge, that those cyclonic depressions, or the moisture from the Mediterranean Sea, Black Sea, Caspian Sea, they are picked up by the western disturbances, and that moisture is transported to India, particularly in the month of January. And when that moisture is when that particular moisture sheds, so we see that there is the snowfall in the month of January. But western disturbances, they have been very feeble, they have been very much weak during this particular period. So because of that, snowfall is not there. Moreover, basically these western disturbances, they also play a very important role. They dissipate fog also. Okay, but as this year western disturbance was not there, fog also has become a very big problem, and we have seen that many flight operation, train operations have also got subverted. Also, these western disturbances, as they clear the fog, they also bring important sunshine during the period of winter, which also has not happened because western disturbances have not come. Now, when we talk about these western disturbances, it has been seen that during December to January there are 5 to 7 western disturbances that came, but in December there was no western disturbances that has happened. Then the next reason that come is the El Nino condition. Now, guys, basically it has been seen that when it has been seen that The El Nino as well as La Nina has impacted the winters in India. However, it is being provided that irrespective of El Nino, La Nina, anyhow the winter, the anyhow what is happening, the winter moisture is getting decreased and less western disturbances have come. Largely, it is the climate change that is the biggest culprit in this direction. And then the third most important reason is the jet streams. Jet streams. So, what are the jet streams? Jet streams are powerful winds that the powerful winds that are present at the height of around 12 kilometers, and they have a speed of 250 to 320 kilometer hour. And actually, these jet streams are the carriers of western disturbance in India. So, if you remember, we have seen this particular thing that the moisture fine develops over Mediterranean Sea, Black Sea. So how it is transported? It is actually transported by the jet streams. But what is actually happening? These western disturbances, they are getting shifted more and more towards the northern direction, and because of this particular thing, they have not brought considerable moisture. So these are the reasons that there is no winter rainfall or snowfall in the Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh region. Okay, now moving on to the next article. So here we have this article: higher education enrollment rose by 19 lakh in 2021-2022 government survey. Okay, so this particular article we are going to see with respect to GS paper number 2, issues related to higher education. Issues related to higher education. Now, when we talk about, guys, education in the past period, there are two important development that has happened. First of all, recently we have seen that the ASAR annual status of education report was released by Pratham NGO. Now when we talk about the ASAR annual status of education report, it tracks the learning, it tracks the learning trajectory of school students, and we have seen that this year children in the age group of 14 to 18, they were considered. However, this article is different. This article is on the AISHE, that is All India Survey on Higher Education. Now, this AISHE survey, it is released by whom? It is released by Ministry of Education. So, ASAR annual status of education report Pratham, and AISHE survey, it is released by Ministry of Education. Now, this particular survey is being released since 2011. It covers all higher educational institutions and the enrollment, how many male enrollments are there, how many female enrollments are there, what type of courses are being taken. All these particular things are taken under the AISHE survey. So, as per the AISHE survey that has been released, so it has been seen that total enrollment in higher educational institution have been improved. So they have increased to 4.33 crore, okay, in 21-22 compared to 4.14 crore. So which is a very good thing. The pandemic, it was said that because of the pandemic, educational output has got impacted, enrollment has went down. But post pandemic, increasing enrollment is a good development. Then female enrollment in the science stream has outnumbered the male enrollment. Now, when we talk about female, it has been seen that the female's presence in STEM, that is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, is concerning. But ASHE survey is saying that no, in the STEM, female enrollment has increased, which is a very good thing, because always it has been said that into the STEM courses there is genderization that is seen, but that thing is now changing, which is very good. Also, it has been provided that overall female enrollment, fine, in the higher educational institution, it increased to 2.07 crore from earlier 2.01, which is again a very good thing. Fine. Then the next thing that comes in this particular direction is that basically it the survey also points out that there is increase of 45% in OBC student enrollment, fine, compared to 2014-15. Okay, which again shows that education is not only reaching to the women, but education is also reaching to other socially deprived sections of society. Okay, so this is, guys, some important aspects, and this information you can use in your answers related to education, social justice, GS paper number 2 if you are writing. Okay, however, when we talk about the children enrolled in different courses, that information is also given. So it has been said that largest number of students, they are enrolled into the uh, largest students, they are enrolled into the arts courses, 34.2%, followed by science 14.8%, commerce, engineering likewise. Okay, so these data, first of all, understand that in prelims a question might come that recently Aisha was in news, who releases it, that question might be there. But when we talk about the mains examination, in the mains examination, often when you are writing the answers, these data can be complemented. A standalone question will be not be there, but you can use it to complement it. Then, moving to the next article. Now, for the prelims examination, this is an important one, disease X, because there has been mention of disease X so many number of times. Recently, there was an article in Down to Earth. So, what is this disease X? So, basically, disease X is a future disease. As of now, we don't know what is this disease X. But see, what happened? You know this particular thing that COVID started suddenly at the end of 2019, and in 2020 it emerged into the pandemic. So as COVID came from some mystical situation and overpowered the entire world, in the same way, some even more serious, even more dreadful disease will emerge. Okay, so what will happen? It is an illness which is currently unknown. We don't know, but this illness will come and will lead to a severe challenge on the health of the entire world. So this might be because of some virus, this might be because of bacteria, it might be because of fungus, we don't know. Okay, so this new disease will emerge and it will be more deadly than SARS CoV-2. So it has been said that it will be 20 times more deadly than the COVID. Now this disease X, this term was coined by the WHO, World Health Organization, and it could be from 25 families of viruses that have the capability to cause illness. Okay, and this disease X is on to the blueprint of WHO since 2018. COVID is not disease X. Why? Because it was not deadly. Disease X will be even more deadlier than the COVID 19. Okay, so this is about it. Now, moving to the next article, Grantham inscription. So, this is very important for your prelims art and culture section. So, let's see what is this Grantham inscription. So basically, guys, when we talk about Grantham inscriptions, okay, so basically, recently what has happened, Grantham inscriptions, okay, just a minute. So, stones with 11th century Grantham, 16th century Tamil inscription discovered near Kanganiyam in Tamil Nadu. Okay, so new inscriptions of Grantham have been found. So, what is this Grantham? So basically, Grantham is a historical script that was used earlier to write Sanskrit throughout Tamil Nadu and larger parts of Southeast Asia. Now, guys, you know that we use a particular script to write any language. For example, for Hindi, there is Devanagari script that is used. For Hindi, there is Devanagari script that is used. Fine. In fact, Devanagari script is shared by many other languages also. For example, Marathi also uses Devanagari script. Okay. Now we see when we write Sanskrit today we find that basically Sanskrit, it is written on the Devanagari, but it was not the case. So there was this Grantham, which was used to be the script for writing Sanskrit. Now, when we talk about the word Granth literally means a literary work, the word of literature. Okay, and in fact, Granth and Tamil scripts, they look very similar. They have a lot of similarities in that. Now, when we talk about the Granth script, this particular script hugely developed in the region of Tamil Nadu, and development of this particular script could be divided in four periods. That is the archaic and ornamental, transitional, medieval, and modern period. And there are lot many inscriptions, rock cut caves are there. Fine, where we have found the usage of the Grantham inscription. Okay, now here if you focus, I have given you the examples that where I have given you the example that where the Grantham inscription has been found. Okay, so here you can see that Mahendra Varman's Trichupalli rock cut cave. Here we find Grantham inscription. Then there are other cave temple inscriptions such as Narsimhan's Mamallapuram, Kanchi, Kailashnath. Fine. Here also there is the Grantham script that has been used, and this is an example of the archaic period, archaic and ornamental period. Then after that, as we move to the transitional period, so transitional period was between 650 century to 950 century. And during this particular period also we find many of these inscriptions. Fine. By the way, already I have provided these particular notes on the Telegram channel. You can download these particular notes and can use. Okay, so here just you can pause the video and can see the different places where the Grantham script and Grantham scripts inscription are found. Okay, on this also the question can be asked in prelims examination, because in the past questions are being asked on such a kind of a lines. However, we find this particular thing that with the introduction of printing machines, what happened? As printing machines got discovered, what basically the palm leaves they got converted into the books, and when the palm leaves they were converted into the books, so Sanskrit was used. So the translation or the printing was done into the Grantham script. But after the independence, what happened? Grantham script's usage in Sanskrit got declined, and Devanagari script became the prominent one. Okay, so this is about the Grantham script. However, guys, one more thing is there, that there is a huge probability that a question can come, but I will not advise you to go beyond what we have discussed here. So that is all about it. And now moving to the next article. Okay. Asian Buddhist Conference for Peace. Asian Buddhist Conference for Peace. Now, this particular article we are going to cover with respect to art and culture, and also this article, though we are seeing primarily for the prelims examination, but for mains also the question can be the content can be used. So recently what has happened? Asian Buddhist Conference for Peace. Asian Buddhist Conference for Peace was held in Delhi. Actually, its 12th General Assembly was held in Delhi. Now, when we talk about the Asian Buddhist Conference for Peace, it is a mass movement of the Buddhist people. And theme of Asian Buddhist Conference this year was Buddhist Voice of Global South. Buddhist Voice of Global South. Okay. Now, when we talk about this particular Asian Buddhist Conference, let's understand first of all that where it was founded. So basically, this particular conference, it was founded in 1917 in Ulaanbaatar in Mongolia. Ulaanbaatar in Mongolia. And since then, the Buddhist followers meet, and this is a voluntary movement where the monks as well as lay members both participate, and its headquarters is also in Mongolia. So its headquarters are in the Gandan Tengchling Monastery in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. And now, when we talk about Buddhism, there are the different factions. There are different sects within the Buddhism. For example, there is Dalai Lama, who represents Tibetan Buddhism. Then the supreme head of Mongolian Buddhist, fine, is the current ABCP president. Current ABCP president. Okay. Now, in this particular Asian Buddhist Conference for Peace that has been held in Delhi, India has reiterated its commitment that India will always be the voice of global south. India will support, will move forward for the causes of the countries of global south. Now a question might come that what is the meaning of global south? So basically, global south represents the developing countries. Largely, the countries in the northern hemisphere, they were called as developed countries. Fine, the northern countries, developed countries. But the countries in the southern hemisphere, developing countries, fine, are there. Now, when we talk about India, India always have tried to leverage Buddhist diplomacy. First of all, genesis of Buddhism happened in India, and because of that we connect with the countries of Southeast Asia, which have largely Buddhist cultures. So we have recently seen that India is developing Buddhist circuit. Also, what is happening? India is developing international center for Buddhist culture. So by that we connect with the Buddhism. Now guys, when we talk about the Buddha's messages are time tested, and in the present times of crisis, Buddha's messages are the most important one. For example, Buddha has talked about the Madhyam Marg, that is the middle path. It shows us that the absolute affirmations, fine, is never going to help. So, in the middle, we need to find the way out. Okay, so that is about it. Now, moving to the next article. Amrit Dharohar Capacity Building Scheme. Amrit Dharohar Capacity Building Scheme. So this also we are going to see with respect to art and culture prelims examination. So basically what has happened, government has come out with this Amrit Dharohar capacity building scheme. Now this particular scheme specifically aims to promote ecological tourism at wetlands, particularly those particular wetlands which have been recognized under the Ramsar Convention. Fine. Now, first of all, guys, understand that basically there are five wetland sites in India that have been chosen where this Amrit Dharohar scheme will be started. Five wetlands have been chosen. What are these five wetlands? Sultanpur National Park in Haryana, Bhitarkanika Mangroves in Odisha, Chilika Lake in Odisha, Sirpur in Madhya Pradesh, Yashwant Sagar in Madhya Pradesh. These five wetland sites have been recognized. Now, on these particular wetland sites, ecologically sensitive tourism would be spread. Now, this particular Amrit Dharohar capacity building scheme, it is a joint initiative between Ministry of Tourism, Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Tourism and Ministry of Environment. And under this particular scheme, fine, this scheme will be implemented for next 3 years, that is 23 to 26. This scheme will be implemented, and in this particular scheme, how to optimally use the wetlands, how to promote the biodiversity of the wetlands. Many of the wetlands, they attract a lot of bio migratory birds, okay, but at the same time a lot of wetlands, they are also facing so much of damages also. For example, wetlands are being encroached. Okay, now wetlands, when we talk about it, they play a very important ecological role. They act as a buffer zones, prevent the urban flooding, but we are not respecting it. So enhancing biodiversity, optimally using wetlands. Fine. Now wetlands, because of their diversity and often because of the fauna diversity that is there in the wetland, they also help in the carbon sequestration. Fine. So all these particular things, also as the tourism will be there, the income generation of the local communities can happen. So all these particular things will be explored. All these particular things will be explored. Okay. Also, in this particular scheme, what will happen? Many different other ministries, agencies will also come together. For example, basic amenities will be needed. Swachh Bharat Abhiyan will be promoted. Okay. So multiple ministries will come together. It is a convergence based scheme. Okay. So this is about it. Now, guys, when we talk about the Ramsar, so Ramsar site is a wetland that is designated the wetland that is designated as wetland of international importance. So basically, Ramsar is a city in Iran. And in the Ramsar city of Iran in 1971, Ramsar Convention was signed, which recognizes the ecological importance of the wetland sites. And for the conservation of wetlands, this Ramsar Convention works. And many of the wetlands, they are recognized as the Ramsar site. When we talk about India, India has 75 Ramsar sites, and out of the 75 Ramsar sites, these are the five sites that we have just discussed, which has been chosen. Okay, so that is about it. Now moving to the next article. ED state tussle, Supreme Court moots mechanism to identify vendetta. Okay, now basically, guys, what has happened in the past, many of the state governments, they have alleged that center government deliberately uses enforcement directorate. Okay, particularly the opposition members, they are being targeted by the enforcement directorate. Now understand this particular thing, guys, that when we talk about the enforcement directorate happens to be a nodal agency under the PMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering Act. And understand that ED has a lot of powers. For example, suppose a person is arrested, a person has to be given a copy of FIR, which has all the information that for what charges a person is being arrested. Person can use that FIR and can prepare for his defense. But when a person is arrested by ED, okay, so when ED is arresting a person, ECIR, which is a counterpart of FIR, that is registered. That ECIR is not to be given to a person. It is not mandatory. A person does not even knows that what are the charges against him. So therefore, he cannot even prevent for the defense. Okay, so ED has a lot of power. If it arrests a person, person cannot prepare for the defense. Now it is being said that ED is being used against the opposition members. So what has happened? Many of the states, such as the Tamil Nadu, etc., they have approached the Supreme Court that we need to come out with a mechanism to ensure that ED is not being used for the political vendetta. Now, Supreme Court has also supported this particular thing, and Supreme Court had said that we need to come out with a pan-India mechanism or a body or a tribunal or an ombudsman, which can ensure that that deliberately it is not being politicized. Also, it has been provided that we also need to come out with a kind of an initiative by which the people who are genuinely the people who have actually done some crime, they also don't get escape. Because see, even the criminals, even the people who have done some crime, who have done money laundering, they might say that okay, they are innocent, for political vendetta they are being arrested. So that thing should also not happen. So we need to balance out that how ED stays effective, but at the same time that political vendetta should not happen. As of now, nothing concrete has come in this particular article. Just Supreme Court has proposed that we need to come out with some initiative, but beyond that nothing has come here. Okay, so guys, that is about this particular article. Now moving to the mapping entry for today, that is Lake Victoria. So basically, what has happened recently, India-based think tank, that is Center for Science and Environment, and National Environment Management Council, they are collaborating with Tanzania as how Lake Victoria can be preserved. In the last few years, we have seen that the Victoria is facing a lot of developmental environmental challenges, and because of that, the sustainability of Lake Victoria has become problematic. So, for its conservation, fine, certain efforts have to be taken, and there, CESCSE, the Center for Science and Environment, and National Environment Management Council has collaborated with Tanzania. So here, guys, we have map. So basically, Lake Victoria is lake in Africa, and here you can see that this particular lake is shared between three countries. Here we have on the north Uganda, then here we have Kenya, and here we have Tanzania. Okay, and in between we have this Lake Victoria. We have this particular Lake Victoria. So when we talk about the Lake Victoria, this particular lake, it has the largest lake water reserve in Africa, and this is the world's second largest freshwater lake. And a majority of its shoreline lies in which country? It lies in Tanzania. Okay, 6% shoreline lies in Kenya, 43% is in Uganda, and 51% is in Tanzania. So majority of shoreline is in the Tanzania. Okay, so therefore, this particular lake is often also said that it is a lake in Tanzania, but that is not right. It is actually an international lake shared by three countries, Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. Majority stake, 51% is in Tanzania. Now, there are some important rivers that fed water in Lake Victoria. We have Kagera, Kotongo, Sio, Yala, Neondo, Sondu, Miriu, and Mara. These are important rivers that feed water in lake. And River Nile, it carries water out of it. River Nile carries water out of it. River Nile is the longest river. It carries water out of it. Okay, so this is important. And guys, these mapping locations that we are taking up, please ensure that you are revising it, and please ensure that you also have a mechanism. Please also ensure that you have compiled them in your notes, because question on world mapping are coming approximately every year. So that is all, guys, about it. And with this, we come to an end to the today's session. So thank you so much, guys. I hope you have liked the session. If you have liked the session, please do hit the like button. Also, please leave your comments with respect to the MCQ questions also. Thank you so much.